Hi, Maher Canawati. Thank you so much for your time coming to our studio. I guess this is your second time coming to our studio.
Yes.
How do you like our studio? How do you like
Amazing.
Indonesia so far?
Amazing. Actually, 10 years ago when I came here, I see many changes in the studio and many changes in Jakarta as well. I love it. I love everything about your country and about the people.
How do you like the culture of Indonesia?
I think I can live in Indonesia and I feel like an Indonesian everywhere else.
Okay.
I'm learning a lot from the Indonesian people and how the hospitality and how great they are with showing respect and love to visitors and to people who come here for tourism. I believe Indonesia is on the top list for amazing places that you feel really good and welcomed.
Okay, I can guess it too. I heard that this is your second agenda coming to Jakarta, and the last time you visited Jakarta was 10 years ago. I know that you probably have a very tight schedule here. So what brought you to Indonesia this time?
Yes, basically since last time I came 15 times to Indonesia.
15 times?
Yes,
okay.
Last time I was here was 2019 when I brought my family. And they enjoyed several places in Indonesia. But you know, as a businessman working in the industry of tourism, we welcome all of the Indonesian customers to Bethlehem. And we have a beautiful souvenir shop where you can find everything from 10 cents up to $250,000. And I did like a thank you gathering for all of the supporters in Indonesia. And we've had a successful gathering event, brought 316 beautiful, amazing friends and brothers from the industry of tourism.
Okay, what kind of, you told me that you are probably like an entrepreneur or something. What kind of business do you run in Indonesia? Do you have something like in Indonesia?
Actually, we're trying to import products from Indonesia, but other than tourism and bringing people to the Holy Land, to visit the holy places, both Muslims and Christians. We have the shop to sell the souvenirs for them in Indonesia. And we have plans to build a hotel. And because there's a huge demand for hotels in the Bethlehem area. And also I have discussed with a friend of mine here to open an Indonesian restaurant because this is missing also in the Holy Land, and it would be really successful to get the real Indonesian kitchen by teaching a local chef or maybe sending a chef to Indonesia for a month or two to learn.
Local chef in Bethlehem.
From Bethlehem to Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so we can give the best Indonesian food, which not only Indonesian people love, but me as Palestinian, I love Indonesian food. And I think Americans, Canadians, Africans all love the Indonesian kitchen.
Okay, well, speaking of Bethlehem, I think you know, Bethlehem is known as the holy city of the three religions, and as a mayor, I can say that you're a mayor of Bethlehem. Am I right? What actually are the main challenges while leading this city?
Basically, in the election 2 years ago, I won with a friend of mine in a coalition, and I will take office as the mayor of Bethlehem in April 2024. Challenges, the most, you know, the challenge is occupation for people in Bethlehem, for tourism, for Christians and Muslims living together in Palestine. The you know, occupation is what hits us and hurts every side of our life in Bethlehem.
What kind of occupations?
The Israeli occupation. The problems, you know, we are limited to move within Palestinian cities. We're not allowed to, we don't have airport or point of access to Palestine. Everything has to go through Israel. You know, as President Arafat accepted Israel as a neighboring state, we all follow our leaders, but we need to be handled also as humans. We want to live in peace. We want Bethlehem and all holy sites in the Holy Land to be accessible, safe for Bethlehemites, for Palestinians, Israelis, and everyone that visit this beautiful land. As you see, as you know, that Palestine and Israel are the land of the three religions. And we need it to be accessible to all of these religions and to live in peace and harmony and to build bridges of peace that will bring more tourism, more pilgrimage just to Bethlehem in order to prosper and give the message of peace to the whole world.
Okay. Maybe some Indonesian people don't know for sure about what Bethlehem is like and how's life there, how's the people, and of course the culture. We just know about it on the social media and the televisions, on the surveys about it, and about the conflict in Palestine. So can you tell us about how's life in Bethlehem so far, how's the progress and the people,
Yes.
the culture?
Okay, Bethlehem, to talk, I know the question that the Indonesian people always ask, how are we living as Christians and Muslims together?
Yes.
And I remember in the year 2011, we invited Pastor Gilbert, and he brought
Gilbert
Harvey.
Lomoindong.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And he invited Ruth Sahanaya
Oh,
and Harvey Maholoho.
I know that.
And they came, and we had a beautiful Christmas event in the city of Bethlehem in front of the Church of the Nativity. And I was the translator because we had a lot of locals. Over 7,000 locals were celebrating Christmas with us. So Pastor Gilbert says, Maher, I want to know how many Christians and how many Muslims are attending. So I said, Pastor, we did not discuss that. It is rude to ask. In our culture, we are identified as one.
Okay.
It's not Muslim and Christian, no, we are one. We are Palestinians. The last thing we ask is, Christian, are you Christian or Muslim? Because we are one and we believe that this is our land and we share this land and we're both under one occupation. So we are, one. So I said, okay. He said, because we have the Indonesian TV
Yeah.
and we want to send this message to Indonesia. I said, okay, in that case, I'll have to ask the crowds. So I said, guys, we want to send the example of Palestine to the whole world and to show them how Christians and Muslims live.
That's going to be a
celebrate.
great example for
Exactly,
Indonesians
exactly.
too.
We are definitely the greatest example
But you see,
for living together, sharing, respecting each other's religious views, and respecting each other on all sides. And I've heard many stories in Indonesia and other countries about conflict between Christians and Muslims. But in Bethlehem and Palestine, we don't have this. And we are the greatest example. So when I asked, whereas over 90% of the people celebrating Christmas were Muslims.
okay.
And that was the biggest shock for Pastor and crew. He said, I could see that there are some Muslims, but I would have never guessed that 90% of those who are celebrating Christmas are Muslims. And that's exactly also in the Islamic holidays, like Ramadan. It's my favorite period, is Ramadan, because I'm invited every single day to iftar at friends, at people who are always, putting Christians and Muslims as one. We don't invite people to Christmas festival only the Christians. We invite Palestinians.
Okay.
And exactly the same with Islamic festivals. We are always invited. Actually, we are more taken care of in these places to show that Christians and Muslims are one.
Okay, but do you see often the conflict between all of these three religions in there? Like,
Many people think it's a religious conflict, but definitely not.
No.
As Palestinians, we love Christians, we love Muslims, and we love the Jews as a religion.
yeah.
But our fight is with the Israeli occupation, with the Israeli unfair actions towards Palestinians, the killing, the stealing of lands, all of the bad things that we all know about. And so we're against that. We're definitely not against the Jews as a religion. Actually, there is a Jewish community in Palestine, and they call themselves Palestinians.
Okay.
In Mount Gerizim, in the northern part of the country, it's next to Nablus, the Samarian. They're Jewish Palestinians. So it's very important that everybody knows that our conflict is not a religious conflict. It's an occupational conflict. People want land, people want to drive out people, and unfortunately, this is what we're fighting, and this is what we are calling the international community to help the Palestinians with. And Indonesia is on the top of the list, helping and supporting the Palestinians and the Palestinian cause. And we thank every single Indonesian, from the north to the south, from the east to the west.
Okay.
We love Indonesia, we love Indonesian leadership, and we love everything about the Indonesian people.
So I think Indonesian people are quite famous in Palestinian. What
you.
do Palestinian people think about Indonesians so far until this day?
I'm telling you, I think if you ask randomly any Palestinian,
do they know more about Indonesian?
Of course they do.
Okay.
You know, I think Indonesia is number one on the list.
Okay.
Palestinians know that the best support, not financially, you know, it's not always financial support, is Indonesia is number one supporter for Palestine, and every Palestinian feels that. And I've had many Indonesian ambassadors, and he was fighting for the rights of the Palestinians in every single place he was, more than any other Islamic or Arab country in this world. So we really appreciate everything you do for the Palestinian people and for Palestine.
Okay. Well, Maher, we know that the conflict between Israel and Palestine has been happening for ages, for a long time, and we haven't seen any sign that the conflict will end, to agree on that. And how do you see this? In your point of view, how's the solutions to end this?
You see, my great-grandfather or my grandfather passed away after the 1948 war. After he lost all of his lands in the war, he was in Bethlehem. When he went back to the north to his farms, we're talking thousands of acres. He found settlers with guns and weapons, telling him, "This is not your land anymore. This is ours," of course. So he passed away a couple of months after that, knowing that, you know, he lost everything. I tell you something, even though sometimes it's hard to believe that something good will happen, but Palestinian people live with hope.
Okay.
And we will not let anyone kill that hope in our hearts. And I think, and I'm sure, if not me, my son, and if not my son, my grandson, will take what was taken away from us. And peace will prevail one day, and the Palestinian people will have their rights, will have their lands, and will have Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine.
Okay. Thank you, Maher,
Most
for your
welcome.
time. Thank you so much for coming to Liputan 6 studio. I hope you have a great day with your family and your business trip, whatever it is in Indonesia. And I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. We love you. Thank you very much. I invite you to visit Bethlehem.
Oh, thank you
and
so
Palestine.
much. Next year, I'm going to Bethlehem.
Amen.
Amen.
Welcome, welcome.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Maher.
so much.